Hey, so I'm doing a match between, it's a CGA League match, but it's not my match. It's my friend Drewch's match, friend of the show. I'm sure you've seen him on here before. He's playing a CGA League match against microfiche. They're both around 9Q, so they're evenly matched. And off they go. I'm on a new internet connection, so it looks so far like I'm at 580 frames, none of them dropped, so I'm really happy with that. It looks like my internet connection troubles are finally solved. Anyway, on to the game. Let's zoom out really quick. Okay, so four corners, white went for 2 star points, Mac went with his, black is Mac, I'm going to call him Mac. Went with 3-4 on each end, enclosed. White chose not to cut in the middle, like the normal thing to do here, of course, would be this. But white chose not to do that. After this, this is kind of a weird thing. It doesn't enclose the corner. It doesn't make any territory. It's especially bad in my opinion because C4 is on the 3rd line here. So he can't even make a large scale framework because black has so many ways to jump in under here. So I don't really like this move very much. Now the question is, should black do what he did, or should he prevent white from doing the wedge? I think they're both fine. I probably would have done this, but this is fine as well. And then we got into this semi-typical Joseki, except it normally only happens when there's white stones here. So the way that this is now, it's way better for black. So as of move 11, I definitely prefer black. Okay, let's see what happens while we were talking. Okay, white. Okay, so white attaches at Q2. Probably because he realizes that black is making a huge amount of moyo, and he doesn't want that to happen, so he's making a desperate invasion. I don't like that at all. I think he definitely should. I'm going to clone this game in advanced editor so that I think that will allow me to sync it. Maybe it doesn't. I know that this used to work. I don't know why. Stop working. Anyway, actually, I think it is syncing. Yeah, Roman 15. Yeah, it is syncing. So, okay, first of all, I think white should have done something like this. This just seems way better. Yeah, I mean, black has a solid grip on the right side, but you can try to push this low and maybe get some moves around here and focus on the top. What he did here is just begging for trouble. What you're doing is you're allowing black to give you the corner in exchange for thickness in an area where you really don't want black to have thickness if you're white. Black chose P2, but I think R2 is at least as good. Oh, sorry, other way around. Black chose R2, but I think P2 would have been at least as good. The idea is you allow white to maybe try living in the... I don't even know if this lives or not. But the idea is that it doesn't even matter because what you're really aiming for is like this or this. And at this point, this tiny little corner worth way less than the moyo you're getting here. Right now, the possibility is still open for white to, I mean, black went with this. So the possibility is still open for black to, grab Sente somehow. Not like this, I'm just saying something like this, and then grab this anyway. Better for white. Okay, let's see what actually happened. White went for a cross cut. That's interesting. I mean, it has this immediate problem. White can't do that, obviously, for that reason. So white instead went here. Makes sense. Black captured immediately. I actually would definitely have done this instead, just because after the capture, then this is sort of pseudo-sente. Like, you don't want white winning this cup. So I would have done this, but it's not a huge difference. Okay, so black captured, 0-2, trying to make some eye space, makes sense. And black is going to lean. This is the right approach, I think. Aiming at the top. This syncing feature is cool. Like, the moves are just popping in as they happen. Very cool. Okay. Okay, so white is here offering black the right side in exchange for letting him grab K3, and black in my opinion, correctly decides that's not a fair trade, and he just grabs k3 instead. So this is fine. Now, obviously, this gives white the opportunity to do this and make some shape, like all sorts of decent possibilities here, but that's still better. Oh wow, white goes here. That's interesting. I don't like it. So the problem is this shape here is far from settled. So black has a great attack here. Lots of opportunities, a lot of places to make thickness. So I mean, part of the appeal of this is that, like, this is not a real variation. I'm just showing sort of which way the shapes will end up pointing. And the answer is they'll end up pointing directly towards this weak stone, which is exactly what white doesn't want to happen. So this is a suspect move. This is a perfectly fine response as well. I really think n3 would be better, but I'm still really liking black so far. Okay. That's interesting. So I guess black doesn't want to do this. It's just pushing white in a good direction and weakening these stones. So instead he goes for the immediate cut, which is a good decision, I think. Oh, camera's phasing out. There we go. White can try to prevent this cut directly, but it's going to mean a lot of territory for white. Like, he's still got this cutting point to worry about, so black will get a very good thickness there. Instead he went here. I've never seen that before. I guess if this is like your idea of a trade-off, then I guess this is fine. Like, give black the bottom and just go for some outside thickness, but let's see if that's what happens. He follows up with f3. This guy's so inconsistent. He keeps on making a thickness territory trade-off and then immediately nullifying his own strengths. This is not a good move, I don't think. Neither is h3. He should just g2. Yeah, g2. This is really bad for white. Black went f2. I think just as good a move, if not better, as h4. I mean, these two stones aren't going anywhere, right? They're the epitome of dead. And now these two stones are as well. Whereas with the move that was actually played, well, then these stones still have a chance to get out with something like this. Right? They're still able to put pressure on the k3 stone. Instead of h5, white went with j4. Okay. That's almost as good. No complaints. If not, it might even be better. I think black's best move here is now here, to sort of threaten that, and then, you know, something like this works better because now you've got this sort of ladder breaker right here, right? So now you can defend the L3 cut by forcing at N3 first. And if for some reason white ignores N3, well then the benefits are immediately obvious. Okay, instead white went for h4. Sorry, black went for h4. Not so good. The problem is that this j3 possibility here, the fact that this connection is not solid yet, is something that black can later use to his advantage. You're basically allowing white to fix his weakness for free, and you didn't really get anything out of it. h4 is not really that important because the g4 cut isn't that important, right? Like, there's nothing to worry about here. You take that cut, you go for it, right? Like, these stones are dead. So, a minor loss of Haji, basically. It was just Haji losing. Okay, you follow it up with L4. Again, I would have gone with N3 first, and then maybe you can be even a little bit more ambitious and jump out to L5 instead of L4 with the same sort of variation as before. A little less clear, right? Like, you might end up sacrificing these stones for these, but still overall a good exchange. But of course white immediately butts into it at k4. Again, not a good move for the exact same reason. Black's biggest problem here is the weak shape, and you're allowing him to fill that in. Right now there's no difficulty at all in playing a move like this, and indeed it's exactly what black ended up doing 5 seconds ago. White connects, black leans, that's exactly the right direction to go in. Now you're sort of creating, I need to learn these shortcuts. You're creating sort of mii in the A and B regions, not necessarily A and B themselves, but in the A and B regions. I mean, this group and this group are all weak. Okay. Okay, so now white decides he's going to finish up his thickness on the left. Kind of late. Black grabs A. Okay, not bad. I mean, like I said, it's sort of Mia. You didn't need to do it right away. You could have waited until white tried to get out with P3, P5, but that's okay. Okay, white should not have done this, so white needs to do this in order to have any chance, because, you know, this sort of forces a couple moves like that, then you can try to connect out to the left side here. But the way that this actually went, white saved 1 stone and lost 5. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I need to pay more attention. I need to pay more attention. This doesn't actually work. Well, actually it probably does. Like, black should probably just do this here, threatening these 2 stones in a ladder. So if white just continues up, now those stones are actually dead, for real this time. And if he does something a little bit trickier, well, you still got the same idea going for you, right? Like, after this, there's not much more that white can do. So, okay, I wasn't totally wrong. I wasn't totally crazy. My instincts were right. This does work. He just can't, you can't grab this right away because of the cut at h5. So you need to be a little bit more subtle. Grab this first. If white goes here, capture those in a ladder, still a great result. And if white defends these stones, capture these with h5 to get that important extra liberty, I guess is the right word. And black is solid. Unfortunately, black did this. White cut appropriately. Interesting. Okay. Black found another tactic, which works just as well. So, well, maybe not just as well, but also seems to work. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. So, first of all, black could do this. Force that connection. And normally he could do this right away, but the problem is he has a cutting point at J6 and K3, both of which can be problematic, right? For the following reasons. So he can't do this. He needs to keep him in the ladder. And luckily, this ladder works for black. So this is still all good, right? Black's going to go like this, and it's dead. So he could have done this. He could have just grabbed this, and it would still be a win for black. Could also have done this. This would also work. No, this wouldn't work. Yeah. So black did this. White did this. Black did that. So now white can capture, and it's still an okay result for white. But like I showed with the ladder variation, could have been much better. But you sort of have to read out that this ladder works, which is not necessarily easy to do at 9Q when you're a little stressed out. I'm going to log into the chat to see if there's anyone who wants to participate in this discussion. Also, if you have a KGS account, if you're watching this, and you have a KGS account, and you wish to participate in the discussion, my clone of this game is in the advanced game room. So just come to the advanced game room and watch. That's it. And you can comment and like ask questions and stuff, or you can just do it in the chat room. Your call. Okay, so how's the game actually going? Okay, it looks like black hasn't moved ever since making that blunder. Okay, black just moved. Okay, so black realizes that this group is going to live no matter what. This group is alive as well. So his main benefit in this position is the weakness of these 5 stones. So he chooses a pretty good move, in my opinion, to fence them in. White's best resistance is probably this. There's lots of opportunities here to get out. White opted for the straightforward push out. Black should just do that, I think, and now there's not really any way for white to proceed. There's just not. Not really anything left here. Yeah. Oh wow, those are exactly the moves that happened. Are they really? Oh no, they're not. No. I was just adding to the end. So not actually the moves that happened. I was getting ahead of myself. Okay. So I think black can just grab n6 here. I think Mac knows that. He's just being extra careful because he did mess up a similar situation in this region here. But I think he'll end up playing n6 anyway. Oh boy, I don't think we'll. Sorry, 1 second. Okie doke. Sorry about that. Okay, black still has not decided on a move. Let's see what he might be considering. Oh, okay, he did decide on a move. He went with this. Okay, I'm not sure I like that as much because of that. So the problem is that after you do that, there's a lot more cutting points, namely the double tie right there. So that's a huge problem. That's probably going to bite him really soon. You avoid all these difficulties by grabbing this instead. Now there's only 2 cutting points, and neither of them are particularly dangerous, especially considering that this is sent to connect to there. So I feel like black is always going to come ahead in this sort of race. Or it's at least Seki. No, that's definitely a win for black. But what went there? I can't tell if this is actual game. Okay, so black realizes the cutting point issue. So instead of directly capping at n7, he pokes out to o7. Yeah, so again, the problem is this. And the ladder works for white. Yeah, I think you saw it. Sorry, Mac. Might resign if he plays m7. Yeah, I mean, m7 is a good move, but don't resign. I think, yeah, it might be resignable. Yeah, this is a bad turnaround, and it's all because of this move right here. This would just have been a lot better, I think. Hard to judge, hard to judge. Yeah, he played m7. Probably going to grab n7 next. Yeah, so he does grab n7, and now it's going to be a challenge, I think, for black to live. Let's see what he can do. Okay, so he does this. This is Sente, clearly threatening the underneath connection. Okay, so black does that, white does that, black does that. Yeah, So I think black might be dead, unfortunately. Are there any other possibilities? Okay, what if instead of that, can you get a ko if you do something like this? Yeah, this is sort of like a double ko here. So black has to win this ko, and then grab this point, and then win the ko again. So he's sort of got a slight chance for life, but it's not very likely, unfortunately. Oh, my phone's ringing. Does anybody in the chat have an idea of if and how black can live here? There's another ko for life, obviously, right here. Right? So there's that. Who has more ko threats? Black has a ko threat. Well, no, not really. Sorry, it's not a ko threat. Can't threaten that because of that extra liberty there. So, yeah, black has no real ko threats at all. Not a single one. None as big as this whole group here. So, yeah, it might be a resignable thing. Okay, good. So he's going to try to live, though. Like, keep in mind, this is a 9Q he's playing against. So there's no guarantee that this sequence is going to get played out perfectly. So go for it. Go for it, Mac. You can do this. Trick him. Okay, white does h1. That's interesting because it allows that. Well, yeah. Would j1 have been any better? Not really, right? Okay, so what happens after this? That might actually work. Yeah, that works really well. So I went here. Oh, and white just ignores. Interesting. Okay, so that actually does live. Very cool. Yeah, so I think white shouldn't just take each one here. But that's great. So black lives in a small way, but still lives. Okay, so now black goes for the 3-3 at c17. I don't know why I thought M2 didn't move. Okay. Okay, so let's evaluate the, actually let's do a quick count. Okay, so let's just back it up to here and let's do a quick count. So black has a solid, let's assume white gets b3. So it's a solid like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points here, 2 points here. Okay, so like 10 plus whatever this is, and this here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 23, 27, 30, 34, 35. So about 45 points for black. White has no solid territory at all yet, except for like these 2 points here. So, and there is Komi, I think. Yeah, there is Komi. So black needs to make, white needs to make about 45 points out of here. So this corner is open to invasion, this corner is open to invasion. So he basically needs to make 45 points here and here. And he's got a pretty good chance of making it along the top, but there's big problems with his left side because there's still some thickness here. There's still, you know, ladder breaking opportunities against this here, and these stones are low. So a move like this is actually pretty scary, and it pushes white really low, making it really hard for him to accumulate like 45 whole points there. So given that, it's not really necessary for black, I think, to grab a 3-3 invasion here just yet. I would have probably gone for something around here first. But it's not bad. Like either way, if he can grab both of these corners, then white has to make all 45 points in here and here. It's going to be pretty difficult. So let's see what happens. Okay, just a typical 3-3 invasion. Big thickness for white. He now has a new area where he can look to be making his 45 points up. And that's where the game is currently. Okay. So forcing move first, I'm guessing, like expecting that, and then hopefully he'll go for that there. In which case, that might actually be a fairly decent exchange. I can see this being useful in the fight to connect that. What actually happened? What did actually connect? And, okay, now you're getting a little too far because like, for example, this is Sente, right? Like, you have to defend it like that, and now white gets something like this. So this is not a great idea, b12. But white doesn't see it. White takes a13, which is gote. So now black gets another move, and this is fine. Like, I still would have preferred something like this, treating these stones lightly. Like, these stones don't have to live. They just have to be useful when chasing these 3 stones. So I think this would have been slightly better. This is more of an all or nothing play. Like, if you do this, white can do this, and now these have to live. Like, you can't let them die or else their whole purpose was wasted. And now you're allowing white to get thickness while you just make life here. So I don't like this as much as I liked this, but the strategy is still clear, and I think there's a pretty good chance of actually making this work. Oh, and it looks like Mac agrees with my move here, because that's what he played. Now let's see if what white does. White still has some little bit of Aji around b3. Okay, white's going to jump directly into c10. Aggressive. I don't think that's very good. Yeah. There's a couple variations here, but still, I don't think this is really good. I think the best approach is to escape with these 3 stones and make black live. Why do I keep getting black and white backwards today? Make black live. Even just one line up, I think I prefer. I mean, this thickness is all whites, this thickness is all whites, I feel like a three-way surround on this territory on the whole center is worth more than that. Like, imagine how nice this would look after like that. White is just dominating the center. There's pure dominance on the center. So that's what I would have preferred. Black goes, okay, so he does do the underneath connection. So far this is just like my variation here. Right? You can see they're identical. Oh wow, okay, so 89 is different. Not too good, obviously, after this. This is terrible now for black. Should definitely have, if you're going to take it this far, you have to go for the cutting point. And just let this happen. Something like this. Or, yeah, all sorts of possibilities. So. Well, obviously you can't do that. So, so like, yeah, now the thickness is yours. So I think this would have been a lot better for black. This is really bad. White just does that. Yeah, that's exactly the move I suggested. And it's not looking good for black at all. Now he's got two really weak groups, these, and they both have to live. Like, there's no option. If either of these die, the whole left side is white's. And those 45 points will just be rolling in. Okay, white's going for the large scale kill, so he's just capping off a d8. He's saying, okay, black, go ahead and connect underneath. I can kill you even if you are connected, because you've put yourself in such bad shape. There's not even a single eye underneath here, right? If black goes here, white goes there, no eye. And if white goes here, if black goes there, white goes here, and it's the same story. That's a false eye there at A10. So black is actually at 0 eyes right now, unfortunately. He's poking out with D11, and now white's doing exactly what he should, which is go for thickness. And just, this is not even just thickness. I mean, yeah, it is building thickness, but it's also just containing, right? White can go here, but again, there's nowhere to run. This is the only place to connect to. And I feel like there's a lot of ways that white can prevent that connection. A lot of ways. Not good. Not good. Okay, black goes for the immediate cut. Okay, that might actually work. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, so those variations don't work. So actually that's a good move. Let's see how white reacts. White reacts by going there. What's black's best option? Okay, so clearly can't go there. This is... Okay, how about doing this first? 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3 with black to move, so black is still ahead. Ah. Oh yeah, still good. 1, 2 versus 1, 2 with black to move, and actually black has ways to even increase that further. So, okay, black got out of it once again. Terrific. Okay, so now black can connect completely. Okay, so black has once again found a way out of the mess. So he's not in any physical danger anymore, but he still has the issue with white did get these two stones, which are perfectly situated to be grabbing this corner. So now black has to reduce, and these are his two main avenues, like right around here and right around here. So he needs to be grabbing one of those really soon. Black is being very careful or something and not grabbing f6 yet. I think f6 is a no-brainer. I guess what he's worried about is this, followed by that, which does lead to a ko. Right, so you can't connect the ko, he has to take here. So it is a black takes first ko, but it is still a ko. But I think that's okay. And okay, so black did take f6 after all. And white goes for d12. Makes sense, preventing e12. So that's just a good thickness forcing move. Does black need to respond? Yeah, he pretty much does. No, he doesn't. If black ignores and white grabs this, then white has problems of this nature. So I don't actually think that this is sente. Or maybe this is the problem. No, that's not a problem either. Okay, so there's no problems here. White actually doesn't have anything to worry about with regards to this move, so he can tanuki. Okay, and given that he can tanuki, what's the most important tanuki point? And I would argue that it's somewhere like this, and boom, that's exactly what Mac took. Very good thinking, Mac. Very nice, very nice. So he correctly evaluated the risk, decided that c11 was not a problem, and instead took the two biggest points on the board. I called these points the biggest points several moves ago. Very nice. Okay, so he's reducing, but black is black is reducing, but white still has a lot of points here. So it's a question of whether the reduction is enough. Keep in mind, this 3-3 invasion is still interesting. Like, I'm not sure if it works, but it's certainly got some teeth to it. But as it is, as this position is right now, what does score estimator think? Okay, score estimator is stupid and thinks that this group is dead, so let's put that stone there to trick it. Okay, score estimator puts white really ahead, but it's giving white all of this. So indeed, if white gets all of this, that's way too much, but I think black can reduce. Oops. Yeah, and m9 is the best way to reduce. I was just about to say that. Mac is getting good at finding these big strategic points. m9 is awesome. Okay, so this is, I think, the right move here, because it makes this go te. So I hope Max sees this. Ah, he didn't. Crap. Now this, not so good because this works. Right? So that's a bit of a problem. Black should have done this. This is not a huge problem, right? There's not much further white can take it after this. Right? It's pretty much as far as that cut goes. And at the same time, it means that this is not as much of a problem because there's no cut here. So the best white can do is that. You know, you can get him pretty deep. And after you've done one of those, now score estimator still stupidly thinks that black is dead here. Okay, now that lead has really whittled down to only 30 points instead of 50 points. So clearly a beneficial play. Okay, white, instead of honeying at all 9, for some reason just backed off a little bit and grabbed k11, letting black poke in a little bit deeper. White then followed that up with b7. Can anyone in the chat room explain b7 to me? It doesn't feel like it's necessary. Like, what is black really going to do here? It's completely in white's favor. Maybe he's hoping black doesn't notice that this changes the situation with regards to this. Like, maybe he's hoping black will tanuki and then this becomes a lot more attractive. Yeah, I have to assume that's what he's going for. Like, he's now aiming at c11, hoping black doesn't notice. I think black will notice that this changes c11, though. I think black will play d10, or just directly c11 to counter that. So let's see if Mac finds it. Let's see if Mac sees this changes c11. I feel he will, because he correctly tanukied c11 before. So that means he did read out that situation. He saw that there was no threat there because of a 7, and therefore this move will stick out like a sore thumb. So I predict Mac will defend c11 through d10, I hope. So let's just wait and find out. Yes, I knew it. Go Mac. Okay, so he correctly identified c11 as a problem that b7 causes. Way to go. I would have blocked it like this. So that's just me. I would have done this. Whoops, I need to be in my thumb. I would have done this just because it kills two birds with one stone. It also prevents this cut right here. And this still obviously doesn't work. So, you know, later on, if white gets this in a co-threat, then white still has that, right? So it's like, it's a co-threat worse to play c11 versus d10. Not a huge deal. Still awesome that he didn't fall for the tactic at c11. Okay, and white goes back to defending his territory there. Yeah, it's starting to look like a really large, increasingly uninvadable territory there. I'm not convinced black has room on the board to counter it, really. Keep in mind the top left is not actually dead, and black will probably get b4. Okay, let's think about r17 a little bit. Like, let's see if that works. Either as like a successful living invasion or as just a reduction. Like, this is what a reduction might look like. But I don't know. I don't know how white's supposed to respond to this. Je ne sais pas. How's black doing on time? 15 to 30 minutes, so he's got like half the time. Still plenty though, the game's almost into endgame. What can black do? What can black do? You can try something very desperate like that. This is not how it should go, but it might. Okay, black goes, instead of pushing any further, he just goes for a little bit of territory of his own with O12. White eliminates sort of the last remaining poke point. And yeah, unfortunately I think that means this game is pretty much over at this point. There's just nowhere left for black to squeak out the points he needs. What do I have to do to convince Siegelman that black whip is not dead? Okay. Are you happy now? There you go. So yeah, white plus 26. That's about right. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get any better than white plus 26. Unfortunately. But I still think this was a really well played game by black. There were a lot of times, especially around here and here, when he just showed really good sense of which threats to ignore and which threats to play with. So, still a good game, even though I think it's unfortunately not going to end well. Oh, wow, this is awesome, by the way. I'm at 70,000 frames and 0 have dropped so far. So this new internet connection is kicking ass. To answer Ben 8281's query, yes, this is a live game being played on KGS right now. It's a CGA game. None of the players are watching it as far as I know. So, yeah, it's happening right now. It's in the Canadian room. Yeah, if you want to watch it, just look up Drewch or just go to the Canadian room and watch it. It's a pretty important game. Mac right now is 2-0 in the CGA league. I guess after this game he'll be 2-1. And these are like actual national ranked games. So there's some stake behind it. Oh, cool. How strong are you, Ben? Just so I get a sense of how I should aim the discussion. Oh, okay, so black goes for M13, which is a good reduction point, and could lead to some interesting outcomes if, whoops, wrong room to clone it into. Do I not have the clone? Yeah. If white goes for this, I feel like that's not quite as good. Is there any? Yeah, so there's some like interesting possibilities here. So this crosscut is an interesting threat if white goes here. So for that reason, white should just go here. I mean, white has enough of a lead that he can just do that. And now black has nowhere really to go anymore. But this would be a decent reduction. Let's see if that's what happens. Whoa! Okay, so he goes for N13. That's adventurous. Like, white does not need to do this. This is like a really forceful move. That's like, I'm gonna punish your overplay here and capture your stone. Completely unnecessary, and black is doing a really good job. This is excellent. So white obviously can't just do this, right? This is, well, maybe he can. Maybe he can't. I don't know. This is really hard. Okay, so pretty much exactly according to plan. White doesn't need to do this. White can just do this here now, I guess. No, maybe not. Okay, white's going all out here. The problem with this move is that this captures. So white can't do this, black has to do this. 4 versus 3. So at this point, I think this suddenly works now. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. So even if black has the move, it's not enough. Okay, so black goes for that. I think that's just my variation. Yeah, that's just my variation. Okay, so are there any clever tactics that black can use like that? No, that doesn't work. Too many liberties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything interesting around this? Like, yeah, this could lead to a ko. Like this, right? Like, all sorts of interesting possibilities. So if black can just eke out 1 extra liberty, be at 4, then it'll be like 3.5 versus 4. So the game's still on. But you need to do this. That's the, okay, so did black actually play that? No, he didn't. Okay, good. So the key is this move, if you're going to play it, you have to sacrifice this stone. You have to grab that, protect that cut. Right, that's the key to this move. The key to this move is that P14 doesn't work. If we just defend this, then P14 works. So you need to go here, let that get captured. Can this be done right away? Yeah, this can be done right away too, sort of, maybe. A lot of complications. And black seems to be thinking through all of them, which is great. Hi, Peter. Did you just start watching, or have you been on this whole time? Oh no. Okay, so black goes straight for this, which is a good move, but you need to contain P11 first. Like, white can just do this right now, or actually, white can just do this right now. White can do a lot of things right now. Actually, this is interesting. Black can sacrifice those stones now and just go here. Obviously, that's not going to happen, right? So instead, white's going to have to just let that go. So that would be quite an upset. That's a huge, hugest reduction. Let's see what actually happened. Black chose to go all out. Okay, cool. So now if white goes here, capture there. And if white white can't prevent the capture. Oh my god, nice! Alright, white tricked him. Sorry, black tricked him. Oh, okay, so it's, sorry, one sec, scratching. It is Coda's girlfriend. Talk about reversal of fortunes. Yeah, this is a huge reversal of fortunes. So black has basically killed these stones, invaded to a large degree this territory, and all he got out of it was like a reduction here. So this is fine. Like black should just take that. It doesn't matter. Actually, if he wants to be really ambitious, he can do that and like kill the whole thing. And now black might actually be winning at this point. Like after this, let's see what score estimator thinks. Okay, again. Oh my god, you have to do so much work to trick the stupid score estimator to thinking this is alive, because it is. Okay, so now white only has like a 5-point lead, and that's assuming he gets all of these points here, which he won't. So if black plays this outright, I think black is winning now, which is huge. He just has to play this outright. So p14, p13, they all work. Just don't let these two stones be captured. N14 and O14 are critical because they keep these stones disconnected. Thank you. Spiffy shirts. I am styling. I am styling. By the way, Wilson, are you watching, Wilson? Okay, so black did indeed take P14. Woo! Go, Mac, you rock. Okay, white is preventing the H10 cut, which means the K10 cut has to be taken right away, and it is. Perfect, boom. Okay. Now he's doing some trickery here, sure, whatever. Even if you lose those 3 stones, which you shouldn't have to. Just grab F5. If he fills in the ko, take E2. No. Well, I mean, you're delaying the ko. Now the ko is at E6. Okay, I have to clone this and discuss because some big stuff is happening now. Okay, so what black should have done is gotten an extra ko thread by doing this. If white connects, capture, and if white does this, then start the ko. Instead, white took this. Black, Christ, every time I say black, I mean white, and every time I say white, I mean black. So he should have done this, but he should have done that, but what he did was this, so now there's another ko. So now we're fighting this ko, and this ko is much bigger because if white wins this ko, let me just pass as black, then this whole group is looking for a place to live. Right, so this is now a really huge ko for white, and white is almost certainly going to use it to kill these stones. So not the greatest. You could have gotten a +1 ko threat. You could have also just sacrificed these stones, but I understand that's harder to accept. Okay, that is not a ko threat at all. Well, actually it is, sorry, it is a ko threat. If black goes here, then white has this option now. So if white goes here, then white captures that. Sorry, if black goes here, then white captures that. And if black goes here, white goes here, black goes here, and now it's another ko. So we are now into our 3rd progressive ko if the lines end up going this way. And they're all party kos for white, which means if white wins them, he wins the game. If black wins them, nothing changes. He's just back to where he was before the ko began. So these are very good kos for white. Unfortunately, black doesn't seem to notice that, and he lets white take that cut there, which is huge. That's at least a 15-point loss. Yeah, that's pretty huge. That's a huge problem, and it's going to put him behind again. He should have fought that ko. There are some ko threats for white. For black, Christ! For black, every time I say white, I mean black, and every time I say black, I mean white. Except for that time, because if you also take it that time, you've entered an infinite loop, and that's not pretty. Um, so yeah, this is not too good now. Oh wait, yeah, sorry, none of that actually happened. That was my own variation that I then played back at me. Sorry. Um, so they're still here. So black still has a chance to figure this out. I'm really stressed out by this game. More than I am by my own games. I really want black to win. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to keep the code going. The question is which one leads to the most co-threats, right? So I think the answer to that question is to postpone the co over to here. So I would have done this, and then if white does this, then this, 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 this. Black still ends on the threat, plus he's generated a couple of threats, I think, around here. So I think that would have been the best solution what ended up happening. Black filled in the co, and white goes for this now. So now white has to do that, that, and I don't know, I just feel like there's fewer threats this way. So, but it is definitely transposing to this other co. Okay, correct. So black figures that out. Black successfully played that connection instead of the one below it. White captured, and now black has to play G5, G9. G9, G9. No, sorry, F9. F9. F9 followed by F10 followed by co. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so he's postponing this for a little bit. He's saying, okay, I'm not going to try to live by connecting underneath, I'm going to live by connecting up here. If white had just filled this in, then we'd have this situation, which would have been interesting. Like, we'd have had some weird-ass fight going on here. Instead of capturing, I feel black should probably just do this. Actually, no. Capturing is fine. Okay, correct. Capturing there. Good. Okay, and now there's no more postponing. You have to take F9 now. There's no more postponing. F9. F9! Woo! Okay, so the co-threats have started. So N2, big co-threat, threatening to remove the I with N4. Black has to take N4. Please take N4. Or something like it. Yep, he took N4. And the co's back on. Okay, so what are black's co-threats? Like, what is bigger than losing this whole group here? It's hard to say. Like, if there was a serious cut here that actually worked, then that might count. But I don't think there is. This corner here is of comparable size. Like, it might actually be worth it to do this. Like, let white have that and then grab that. Who would be ahead in this kind of situation? Yeah, black would actually still be winning if this happened. So maybe that's what should happen. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Lock this happening. So black made this co-threat, which is not really a co-threat. White took the co, and now black needs to turn this into something as big as the 15 or 20 points he gave up here. Might actually sort of work. F15. I wonder if Max sees it. F15 is a really nice threat right now. F15, man. F15 threatening the snapback at G14 and threatening to come in for the cut at G15. Okay, now you can just do G14. G14 capture, Atari, connect, E15. Oh wow, check this out. Yes! Oh wow, Max sees it. Okay, so, well, sort of sees it. I think he could have done this, like Atari, connect, capture, threaten the cut, block the cut, go down here. Massive reduction. What's the score? Dead even. Black +2. So it comes out dead even. What's actually happening? Oh, white prefers to let the kill happen, and so black scores those 2 stones. White prevents another intrusion in there, and we're looking at endgame now. This is now an endgame position. Unfortunately, I don't think black got quite as much out of that as he could have. I really think that the co-threat here was R17 and not this little push up here. So if black lives there, then it's black plus 4.5, so it's actually still not bad. Black plus 4.5 is still winnable. Obviously, it's black plus 4.5. I love the chat that's going on. Okay, so this is all good. This is all good. Black can definitely win this. This is a massive reduction to white. I feel like S15 might be the biggest move on the board now. No! No, P12 is nothing. Didn't need to do P12. Then again, didn't need to do F13 either, so I guess they're even. Neither of those moves was particularly necessary. Okay, a bunch more unnecessary moves. Okay, S15 is still on the board. G7 is still fairly large if they're going to play those kinds of moves. But I think nothing's bigger than S15 right now. I'd almost say whoever grabs the S15/S14 point is going to win. There. Score estimator is not actually useful because B17 makes it correctly understand that the top is alive. Okay, so black has the tiniest little edge. This is so close. According to score estimator, I don't actually count right now, but I agree. I agree with score estimator. It seems like black has a microscopic edge. They're dead even though. B4 is also another huge point for black. S15. Are you cheating, Mac? Mac, are you listening to the stream? No, I don't think he is. He's not on the chat list, and also he's a trustworthy guy who never cheats. Okay, white also allowed that to be sente, so now black can also grab B4. So now should be the time to grab B4, and if black grabs B4, okay, sure, T16 first, T17, T15, S17. Grab it, I don't care. Now go for B4. B4 is huge. There's a hole in your music. No, he's downstairs. He can't hear me for sure. Okay, b4, and I'd say black is ahead for sure. b4, man, b4, 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 b4. Yes, b4! Woo! Ha! Okay, he's not cheating, guys, I swear. Booyah! Okay, black's winning. Calling it. Sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, score estimator is still pretty wrong, but I think all of its mistakes cancel out. Cool. Okay, that sound is me scratching my throat. I have a cold right now, and when my throat itches, I have this magical skill of being able to like scratch it by going like. It's an interesting skill. Only some people can do it. Okay, Q1, decent move. White just needs to grab R1. He's good. There's also G7, J8, pretty large. Everything else is just a matter of preference. I won't make. I know you won't. You're an honorable man. Hey, team leader. Team leader's watching. You guys better dance Gangnam Style to celebrate Mac's win. Well, Mac hasn't won yet. I mean, this game has changed sides several times already, so it's not too late for a big mistake to happen. Also, it's not too late for Mac to run out of time. He's got, well, okay, not anymore. Okay, cool. G7 is another big move. Very nice, very nice. Cool. I would just grab B7 now. Just a little bit of nice profit. Or that. Either one. I would actually prefer E7, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, now E7. E7, nice. Sure, none of that matters. You can come back to R1 whenever you want. White's chances are slipping away. Guys, it's Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. E19, okay. It's Gote, like these are Gote moves, not the best, but F1 is okay here. I have a feeling Mac is not going to play F1 because he's afraid of D2, but it's not actually a threat here. F1, go for it. It's okay, Cindy. Most people think it's Gundam, as in Gundam Wing, so you're still way ahead of them. You have no idea how many people I hear saying Gundam style, including people at the office. It's embarrassing. Colton, are you a baker? I bake? No, you don't. Do you? I have never known you to bake. Why have I never been the target of your random acts of bakery? I demand proof. Tomorrow, Colton. I cut the tomatoes fine. What are you talking about? L1. Don't worry about the score estimator. I just thought black was dead, but he's not. R1, and that's really the last move. There you go, R1. Yeah, nothing can stop black from winning now. Black is completely won. Now we can start celebrating his win. Alright, now we go. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, half point co. I'm sure that they both think that they are in danger of losing, so they're probably going to play out this half point co, but in reality it doesn't matter. Black won. Faux show. Man, score estimator is really bad. A16, if you're looking for a co-threat white, A16 is a co-threat. Okay, white passed. You didn't find A16, so now black can grab. No, black, you can. Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. Black won. Black won hard. Press done, guys. Press done. So we can read it out. Read it out. Woo! Black has won by 12.5 points, and he is now 3-0 in his round of the CGA League. I think there's just one or two more for him to go, and then he'll be perfect record. There we go. Alright, so there's no need to review this game because I've been reviewing it all day. So I'm going to go off stream now. May or may not come back and play some on my own. If you guys want to play, let me know in the chat. If there's any stronger players, or you guys want to play each other, you want to play Mac, anything you want. Might come back. I'm going to go downstairs and congratulate Mac on becoming 8Q. Holy crap, he's 8Q now. Woo! Go Mac! How about SC2? You don't want to see me streaming SC2. That would be like watching a 25Q stream go. I will. I'm going to go downstairs right now. Tell him congrats. Thank you guys for watching. 0 dropped frames. That is amazing. Oh, I love this new internet connection. And I will see you all later, maybe in a bit. Cheers.